Thanks for listening to the AZ Wildcats podcast, brought to you by Arizona Lottery, presented by Arizona Lottery. Don't forget to get out and buy your holiday scratchers today. Get some of that money to buy season tickets for U of A football, which we will be talking about. Joined by the venerable Jason Scheer. I am merely Mike Luke. Hello, Scheer. How are you doing? It's been about 3 minutes since we last spoke.
Splendid, Michael. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Just so you know, Sam Hartman is not eligible to play any more college football. Just so you know.
What would you do without me?
I don't know. That's a good point. That's a good point. All right. Now, got a lot to get to this show. We're going to talk Arizona. We're obviously going to talk Jedd Fisch, contract extension 2024. I'm very intrigued by 2024. And then we're going to talk about the December gauntlet that is Arizona football. We're going to talk about bad reporting, T-Mac edition style. But first, let's talk about the latest. Here's the deal where I'm at with the contract is that I believe this will be done sooner than later because you have the portal coming up here. You're going to start having bowls announced. I would imagine this would be done sooner than later, Jason Scheer. And I do not have an exact date, but I am not worried about it.
Yeah, it's not a concern. I mean, if the contract isn't done by this time in a month, let's get concerned. But right now, they're working on it. They're finalizing it. It's just not there's no open jobs. I mean, it's just not the type of thing where Arizona fans should be freaking out if it's, Tuesday instead of what we said Wednesday. It's not a big deal.
At this point, I am not at all worried about it. Again, they're going to pay the coaches. They are going to pay, I almost said they're going to pay Dave Heeke. They're going to pay the assistants. I am curious if every assistant will be back. Again, just so you know, the numbers, 3.7, that's going to be raised to 4.8, then 5.2 with the possibility of going even higher after that. But right now, again, I am not worried about this. Like you said, if we're talking about this in a month, this will maybe be more of a concern, but we will not be talking about this in a month. Arizona fans, rest easy, my friends. Sometimes when we hear things, we kind of like the Pac-12, Big 12 stuff. You got to listen to us right here. We know what we're talking about, Jason Scheer.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big concern. Assistants are probably the bigger story. And I mean, there's no assistant that I know of that's imminently leaving, but like we mentioned the other day, the coaching cycle is so minimal this year that it actually is probably going to help Arizona keep the assistants as well.
Well, and that's my other thing. Where's he going? And again, this is with all due respect. This is all due respect. I don't see the NFL hiring Jedd Fisch. Maybe down the road, but I don't see Jedd Fisch getting in a head coaching position in the NFL. So again, I would imagine, I would say by this time next week, we will no longer be talking about this, but everybody out there, do not worry. Now, 12-4 is obviously when the portal opens. That's going to be fascinating. I don't expect Arizona to lose. Now, again, knock on wood, I don't expect Arizona to lose anybody of real substance to the portal. I think it'll be players like Stevie Rocker. And again, that's not a diss to Stevie Rocker, but players that were probably not going to play here. I don't see any big-time contributors entering the portal like last year.
No, the coaching staff would be surprised. It's really the anticipation is they're going to lose a couple guys, and it's going to be because they just didn't play. There's no one that's unhappy. There's no one they're running off for culture issues. It's just going to be a couple guys that, like Stevie Rocker, that said, look, I'm not playing at Arizona. I had fun, but I need to go find a place where, I can go play.
And let's be honest here. Their transfers last year might have listen, Christian Roland Wallace, maybe he's cool with this decision. Dorian Singer obviously got a lot of money, but Dorian Singer obviously also did not have a very good season. Keon Bars, never heard from. So again, sometimes, like we said, the grass is not greener on the other side there, Jason Scheer.
Yeah, I think it's and that's something that I'm sure if a bigger name came to the coaching staff and said they wanted to leave, I'm sure Jedd Fisch would say, hey, why don't you ask, the other guys how that worked for him? The only one that had a good year that left was Jackson Turner. I mean, he was fine, but if you're Arizona, you still don't mind Jackson Turner leaving because your safeties were great.
Right. And again, Jackson Turner, he was not one that was run off, but there was no problems with that. Now, I want to look ahead a little bit. We're going to get back to the portal, but I want to look ahead a little bit to 2024 because I find this 2024 class team very, very, very interesting. We're going to break it down position by position what Arizona has, and we're going to grade these positions. All right, Scheer, are you ready for this one? You ready for this?
I'm always ready, Mike.
All right. Noah Fifita back at quarterback. That is good for the University of Arizona. Obviously, whenever this Arizona lottery thing goes on, it makes like a little bit of a buzz. It's weird. But when Noah Fifita coming back, obviously he's going to be one of the top returning players in the entire country. I think he's going to be something like 4,000 yards, 40 something touchdowns. Like no picks, because that's what he does. And then behind him, it'll be Braden Dorman, Damon Williams, 2 4-star guys battling it out as well. Scheer, that is an A+ QB room, my friend. A++.
Yeah, I know there's been some questions about whether or not Braden Dorman is going to stay. I don't see why he wouldn't. I think maybe you think about that after next season, but we saw this season all it takes is one injury,
right?
And so would it make a lot of sense for Dorman to leave, and that room obviously is very, very strong.
Yeah, that room is stacked. That room is obviously ready to go. So again, would you agree with me that is an A+ room returning Jason?
I will, Michael.
All right, now running back becomes fascinating. So obviously you lose Michael Wiley. That's a loss for sure. He's good. There's no doubt about it. You also lose DJ Williams. I saw DJ Williams in his truck yesterday. He definitely hangs out by the TCC. I wonder what he's doing down there. But you return Jonah Coleman, obviously. We really need Fam to return. Rayshon Speedy Luke. You bring in Jordan Washington, 4-star kid out of Long Beach. You got Brandon Johnson as well. I'd like to see him add a thumper. Right now, I put this as a very much a B+ unit with the possibility to go up to an A, depending on who they get in the portal.
Yeah, I want to see them add a DJ Williams type of back because Speedy and Jordan Washington are very similar. Brandon Johnson I like, but we just don't really know much about him, and he could be good. I don't know, but he is a stronger back. But I'd like to see them go and add a power back type that's okay with getting 10 carries a game and goal line carries and things like that, just in case, because if something happens with Jonah, if he happens to get hurt or anything like that, you don't have another back on the roster that's similar to him.
You don't have another back on the roster that's similar to him. Exactly. And these other dudes are small. Brandon Johnson also is another guy that's not huge by any means. Jonah Coleman, though, is going to be I think he's going to be a preseason. I think he's going to be in a preseason, probably not All-American, but he's going to be a preseason All-Conference guy. And if you were to rush for 1,300 or 1,400 yards next year, it would not surprise me in the least.
He's built I buy it. I mean, it's probably just a matter of how many carries he's going to get, right?
Right.
1,300 yards is a lot, Mike.
All right. What did he finish with this year? And he was and he split carries like 3 ways. Sure, he's going to finish with like almost 1,000 yards.
Yeah, I'll give you 1,000 yards.
How many did he finish this year with?
850.
850. He's got one more game. Probably finishes around 940. I'm just saying.
I love when you do these numbers. Who was it with basketball? We were like, yeah, they're going to average.
Everybody's averaging 19 a game, Scheer.
Jonah Coleman, if you said 14, 13, or 14, so you think he's a top 10 running back in the country?
I do. Next year, I do.
Okay.
You disagree?
I just don't think he'll get the carries.
All right. So you disagree then? You think his numbers are going to take a step back?
No. Look, the leading rusher in the country has 245 carries, dude. Like the guys that lead the country in rushing get carry after carry after carry.
How many carries did Jonah Coleman have this year?
I'll look it up.
Yeah,
he had 123.
All right, well, we need to double that. All right. By the way, Circle K. I went to a new Circle K yesterday to fill up gas. Again, my whole thing is to meet the people, get to know everybody out there. I was at the one on 36th and Campbell, a very, very tough area. 36th and Campbell, not easy. There were also 2 armed police officers in there, but that's because Circle K brings the goods every single day. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. And if you need to be able to sleep a little bit, check out OGs. Scheer, how's your sleeping going?
Look, nothing that OGs can't fix.
All right, that's what we like to hear. That is called Scheer helping out. Check it out. OGs, my friends. Just head to zenleafdispensaries.com. Find your closest location. Order your favorite OGs gummies for pickup and enter discount code PHNX to get 25% off at checkout. This deal is exclusive to our PHNX listeners. And reminder, it's only available for actual online orders through November 30th. Okay, now at the wide receiver spot, the wide receiver spot for next year, obviously you lose Jacob Cowing. But this is an absolutely loaded roster because keep in mind, you still have Tetairoa McMillan, who, I mean, let's be honest, he's got to be the best receiver in the country coming back next year. No,
I believe so. Yeah, I don't see. I'm not looking that up, but yeah, you want me to look up who's with that?
I don't even think you need to look it up. I'll just put it like this. I would be very surprised if there was somebody better. And I think even the national media knows at this point that there is nobody better.
There is nobody better.
There is nobody better.
I could make the case that like there's certain guys that might have a couple better numbers, but there's no one better.
All right, let's see. Clint Moses, our guy, by the way. Oregon State, we like Clint Moses. We like you. We like Digital Dam. Appreciate you, Clint Moses. Now, next to him, then, it's going to be fascinating because Montana Lamonius Craig, we have not started the Montana Lamonius Craig My Bad movement yet. That will have to go into next year, but he's showing signs of life. We like, obviously, seeing the signs of life. You bring him back, and Kevin Green, Malachi Riley, those are 2 players that I think are going to have a big impact. You could see A.J. Jones in there as well. But if I were to just guess one breakout performer, I think it's going to be Kevin Green, Scheer. I am cool with this unit. It's not an A+ unit because you got T-Mac and a lot of unprovens, but it's an A unit for me because of T-Mac.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that unit at all. I mean, I think Montana will take a step up. I'm really excited about Kevin Green and Riley. We got glimpses during games, and it's just a matter of reps with them. I'm not worried about the reps. And then, to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if there's a big name in the portal, if Arizona goes out and gets them and tells them to compete. I don't foresee that right now, but when you're a receiver in the portal and you're looking at T-Mac and you look at Dorian Singer's numbers and you realize that Jacob Cowing is leaving, there's a possibility that they could land a big-time receiver. I don't know if that's the goal. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me if that's an approach they took also.
Yeah, I'm also at this point, though, I've seen enough from these guys that I get bringing in talent. You want to bring in the best talent, but I'm also at the point, though, where I feel comfortable enough that these guys can really emerge and be 700-800 yard receivers. Riley's another one that once Riley took over, all of a sudden, once Noah Fafita took over, all of a sudden, Malachi Riley started getting open. It was weird. Riley is obviously a different a wide receiver than Kevin Green, but Green is really the one that I could see Green catching for 800 yards, 6-7 touchdowns. I am a big fan of Kevin Green.
And we don't know, we don't know AJ Jones, our boy AJ Jones. The coaching staff likes him. They had him in against ASU.
Right.
We don't know, is Derek English? We forgot about him. Is he healed? And if he is,
Holman.
Jackson Holman is another guy. I mean, there's talent everywhere at wide receiver, and so it wouldn't surprise me very much. If they just say, you know what, we're good at this position. We're just fine.
And I don't think, here's the thing, I don't want to see wear it again, and this is obviously, I'm picking nits at this point, but I don't want to see something where it's essentially just 3 players playing the whole time, and one of the players just can never come off the field like Montana Lamonius Craig. I'd like to see it divvied around a little bit. We will get to Conyers here in a minute. But I would like to see it divvied around a little bit. There's more than enough talent, and A.J. Jones, like you said. A.J. Jones is probably the most physically impressive guy on the entire roster at that receiver position, Scheer. Just physically, pure, raw, run, jump, all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. And we started to see it at the end of the year. These guys are very physically talented. Like AJ Jones is physically talented. Like you look around, like these dudes are legit wide receivers, and they stay around when they're not getting a lot of touches because they know this is the year that they've been waiting for. Right?
This is the year they've been waiting for. Correct.
Like Kevin Green is very clearly on the roster because he knew that Cowing would leave, and this is the year.
By the way, Kevin Green's father, awesome dude. Salute emoji, tip of the cap to Kevin Green's father. Very, very cool guy. All right, now, so I'm giving that unit an A as well. Now, let's talk about the tight ends. A total unknown, incomplete, but I do like the talent that is on the roster. I do believe they add somebody in the portal. I know that there's an under the radar tight end, but the coaching staff loves. But I love Kean Burnett. I think this is going to be the year that Kean Burnett really emerges. He's starting to get a little bit more run as the season went on. Kean Burnett is that guy to watch.
Yeah, I would go add a tight end if I was Arizona.
I agree.
I like Burnett. He hasn't shown me enough yet. I think he's talented. I know they love Dorian Thomas. Like they think Dorian Thomas and Tyler Powell are going to be fine. But again, it lacks that experience. If you can go and get a portal tight end that has very clearly had success already, I think you go and do it. Tony Clifton just said it in the comments, like Carson Ryan at UCLA. I think he's going to wind up going to Utah. But if you can go get a Carson Ryan at UCLA, you go and do it.
Yeah, for sure. You go and do that. But I'm not also opposed to some 2 tight end sets. No, Jalen Conyers is not an option. By the way, we were right on that Arizona had the better tight end in Tanner McLaughlin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were right about that. Tanner McLaughlin
Conyers is too big.
Right.
He's like 280 pounds. He's not a good blocker most of the time.
Yeah, I think I would. Yeah, no thanks. Now Tyler Owens continuing to work with Kean is going to be huge. Replacing Tanner's numbers ain't going to be easy for sure. But again, Kean Burnett, you got to remember to the resume, and I'm not telling you guys are all smarter than me, so I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know, but I'm going to do it anyways. Again, father NFL player, was a 4-star kid, committed to USC. I mean, he's got a world of talent right there. It's just it'll be interesting to see if he can make that leap forward. Because again, the talent's there. That's what's exciting about every position. Even if it's an unknown, the talent is there, Jason Scheer.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, no one's arguing that Kean Burnett isn't talented. He's super talented. It's just a matter of putting it all together. And we've seen guys at Arizona that, it's like Justin Flo. No one is denying that he's super talented. He has yet to put it all together. And there's other guys that do put it all together. And that's something that we're going to have to see in the offseason. And I think we'll clearly know what the coaching staff thinks of Powell, Burnett, and Thomas. If they go out and get an experienced portal tight end, then obviously they're like us. They just don't know if it's going to happen yet.
I don't know why Kobe Thiel, the great Kobe Thiel, keeps asking about a tight end. All right, not tight end, a fullback. I don't know that a fullback would ever really be incorporated in Jedd Fisch's offense, Kobe Thiel. What say you, Jason Scheer?
No. We saw what happened with the fullback. They had Clay Markov. You didn't even know he was on the field.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about Clay Markov. That is awesome. By the way, what round do we think Tanner McLaughlin goes in?
I think he's going to test well, too.
I think he's going to test very well.
4th or 5th?
Let's see here. I think about 4th round. I think he goes kind of in the same round as Cowing. Somewhere in there. But he has the potential to outperform that grade. All right, now. The offensive line. I am very bullish on the offensive line next year. I think you're going to get a preview of what the starting offensive line is going to look like in the bowl game. By the way, no inside information or anything, but I do believe that Jonas Avenea will be your starting left tackle, and that Raymond Polito will be your starting right tackle. Let's start there, Scheer.
Yeah, that's about right. I think we'll see some movement. And that's what the offensive line, that's another position. I think Arizona goes out and adds another offensive lineman, an experienced type. There's a couple guys out there already, but the one thing I'll also say with portal offensive linemen, and someone on the staff told me this last year, when I kept asking about like top offensive linemen in the portal, and he said, you just can't believe the price. Like there's not a lot of them. And then the price for the top offensive lineman in the portal is just ridiculous. And so you add a guy that, has some versatility and move around a little bit, or you just kind of stick with what you have. And in terms of what Arizona has, Yeah, they're losing Morgan, but it's pretty damn good what they have in the roster right now.
By the way, people asking about Bruno. I almost said Bruno McLaughlin. What a game that is. Yes, move Polito to left tackle. No, it's going to be, I believe it's going to be Jonah that's going to be moved to left tackle. I believe it's going to be Raymond that's going to be at right tackle. But Bruno Fina, awesome kid. Obviously, dad, NFL royalty. Bruno Fina is not good enough.
No, not good enough.
I hate to say it, but Bruno, maybe under Kevin Sumlin, but he's just not good enough. I don't know what else to say. By the way, if you want to bet on the offensive line, I'm not even sure this is a thing, but I would go to BetMGM. Check out, here's the deal with BetMGM's sportsbook app. You can bet put down a bet of at least $10 and you will receive $200 instantly in additional winnings. Sign up for BetMGM, use bonus code PHNX, place your first BetMGM sportsbook wager through BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app of at least $10. You will receive $200 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for details. Let's hear from the great Shane Diefenbach with a disclaimer.
Problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., New York, or Ontario.
All right, now one more. Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Be like, like Jason Scheer going to Palm Springs, going to Vegas, flying all over. You're like Jacob Franklin going to the hot spots of Red River, Nebraska, or wherever that is that Jacob Franklin went to. Jacob Franklin won't come on the show, so he can't rebut that. Take that, Jacob Franklin. But again, check it out. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit play@Gila.com for more details. All kinds of cool stuff. It is a fun, immersive experience where many of you will have a great time. All of you will have a great time. Check it out, Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Okay, so that's going to be your tackle. What's that? Hey, get back in here. Get back in here. Hey.
Johnson Lake, Nebraska.
Johnson Lake, Nebraska. All right. All right, Jacob. Jacob Franklin, are you still there? All right, whatever. Dude, I love Jacob Franklin. He puts up with me, so I'm going to allow him. I'll allow him to have fun on this. All right, so those are going to be your tackles. Big Jonah, who is going to be a first-round pick, and then Raymond Polito on the other side. Not Robert Polito, as many people continuously call him, like Jason Scheer.
Just you.
Yes. Okay, now... the interior line becomes very fascinating. Obviously, Wendell Moy is going to start. You got Josh Baker back for another year. Then it becomes interesting for me because you've got a lot of different options. And I think there's three guys to really keep an eye on in that. You got obviously Big Rhino from Bishop Alemany. Then you've also got Elijah Payne, Tylen Gonzalez. Those are three players. They are all massive. They are huge dudes. I bet Rhino gets the first crack at one of those guard spots. But those are nice players to be able to have and players that have very nice potential moving forward.
Leafs, come on.
Leif. First of all, it's Leif.
I know. I thought that too. But when I met his dad, he said Leaf.
It says Leif on the tweet at Quinn right now and say, is it Leif or Leaf? Because it says
I know, but I stood with him at the bonfire and he said Leaf.
We got to get to the bottom of this because this would be Jeff Bowe's already messed up another name with Kean Burnett. Now Leif, because it says right there, Leif, I do apologize. But Magnuson, though, has been very good this year. I would imagine he's going to start in this bowl game, and I feel very good about it, Scheer.
Yeah, he'll start. He's been very good. I think guard you probably want some depth there. Right. I think right now, I don't even know who the backup guard is. I know it's Leif is in there, but.
Why don't we just call him Magnuson? There's only one Magnuson.
Yeah, Big Magnuson. Big Magnuson. That's awesome.
Yeah, I like Big Magnuson. Sounds like a porn star. Big Magnuson enter in the room.
But other than that, I don't really know. Maybe the younger guys are more developed, or you go out and you add a guard.
This is very funny. Jose L. Roman Jr. The N in Leif is silent. Yeah, that is a. All right. Well, we'll get to the bottom of this. By the next moon, I will know what it is. But I love the line coming back next year. I give it an A, not necessarily an A plus, because you have to be able to You have to be able to obviously replace Jordan Morgan, but I love the offensive line. I am getting very excited even talking about the offensive line. I go an A. Scheer, are you going to C like you said before the show?
No, I'm going A.
All right. You know what? That is peer pressure at its finest for Jason Scheer. By the way, oh, look at our little guy behind the scenes as well, hanging out with Pops. Do you see?
She's out.
Oh,
She's out like what?
She is definitely off. Yes, Quinn is an honorary Tucsonan. No, Quinn is a Tucsonan. We don't even need to put the honorary in there. All right. The only unit on the offensive side of the ball that we're a little we're unsure about is the tight end position, but there is obviously upward mobility. Obviously, Tyler Powell as well could be somebody that factors in there. We can't forget about Tyler Powell, Scheer. You forgot about him.
No, I didn't.
You didn't bring him up. You didn't bring it up? Oh, I don't think so.
About?
Jacob Franklin, did he bring up Tyler Powell? Mesa native Tyler, or Brophy native Tyler Powell. Jacob Franklin, did he bring him up?
I'm asking Quinn right now.
Yeah, because it says in the pronunciation guide, Leif. Yeah, we need to ask right now and say that, and then tell him we're actually literally talking about this live on air as we go through. Okay, now the defense. You got to replay. Listen, I love the assuming we get back. Oh yeah, dude, I knew you were lying. You didn't bring up Tyler Powell.
When you go back and watch this, the first tight end I mentioned was Powell.
Is there anybody?
A whole sentence about him.
People, is there anybody out there that can confirm this, or is this just sheer nonsense?
Sheer nonsense.
Sheer nonsense. Yes. Hashtag. Okay. The defensive line. First of all, you'll lose Taylor Upshaw, which was obviously a big addition to this squad. You've got to get back Big Bill Norton. It all starts and stops with Big Bill Norton. You get back Big Bill Norton, then you got Uiagalelei next to him. You've also got Deuce Davis, who I think is going to break out in a big way next year. Isaiah Ward is solid. I like the D-line. I need another pass rusher, and I need Big Bill Norton back. By the way, don't forget about Jacob Kangaika. Yes, I didn't bring him up.
Yeah, they need another defensive end. You know, I like Ty a lot, but Upshaw, 8.5 sacks, that's not easy to replace. I'd like to see them go out and get another defensive end. And that's not a knock on guys like Russell Davis or whatever. They have Isaiah Ward, they have Davis, but they're losing Jeremy Mercier. Sterling Lane hasn't been great. They have Lalesio, but he probably won't be ready. They need another pass rusher to go out there and do what Upshaw did.
Right. Oh, by the way, Jacob Franklin just called you out. He said he didn't say Powell. Jacob Franklin right there.
I did.
Jacob Franklin is the voice of reason. He is the arbitrator of truth throughout this. Jacob Franklin, we appreciate you coming in. Thank you, Jacob Franklin. Okay.
Oh, wow.
What?
Jacob just buried you.
No, Jacob Franklin's being silly right now. Jacob Franklin's being silly. But the line is a garbage. The line is a solid B, though. A solid B. And it has, again, upward mobility. If you can get somebody, I don't even need somebody like Taylor Upshaw, although I'd love to get another Taylor Upshaw. Just give me a Hunter Echols. Some dude that can get me 5 sacks. You have him along with Deuce Davis, who I believe is going to emerge in a big way, and Isaiah Ward. I feel very good about it then, Scheer.
Yeah, they need to clean up some things. Like they need to replace Upshaw. Interior, they have to bring Big Bill Norton back. But even then, they lose CO, they lose Manoa. There's guys that are going to have to step up. They need to add some depth because the key this year was the depth. And I like Ngaika and all that. But they need to add some guys that are going to be able to rotate, because if you can't rotate like you did last year or this year, your defense just isn't going to be as good. All
right, the linebacking unit. The linebacker unit to me is this is going to be a weird grade because Jacob Manu is obviously an A-plus player. But next to him is a world of question marks. Ideally, you'd like Leviticus Sua to really step up this offseason and become that player, because here's where we're at. By the way, my grade is going to be a B- for the linebackers right now. Because Justin Flo is just limited. I'm going to keep stealing the term from your board. Somebody on the board. I don't know if it was, I think it was Portland Timbers. Very good. A very smart person who just said the concept of Justin Flo is better than the actuality of Justin Flo. I think that's spot on. And again, he does some good things, but he's limited. You don't really want him playing 80% of the snaps. Obviously, Haimuli, that's not an option. You got to get somebody in there next to Jacob Manu there and next to Jacob Franklin.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Manu, I'd probably give it a C. You know,
it's a B- for me because
Flo
of Manu.
Flo and Humili just aren't proven. They're not there. Tay Brown, they like, but you don't know if he's there yet. A lot of this is based on, how much of a jump does Leviticus Sua make. Kamu is solid, but this to me is a very clear portal position where they need to go out and get at least one very solid portal linebacker that they're confident in.
Jose L. Roman Jr. Is Flo a my bad candidate? I'd love for it to be, but I don't see it.
The problem is, but he's been bad. So it wouldn't be like our fault for saying that he's been bad. He's been bad. He could turn it around, but when? He didn't do it at Oregon and he didn't do it this year.
Right. He didn't do. Yeah, exactly. By the way, Scheer, you are coming on again tomorrow because we're going to talk about the Big 12. We're going to talk about Arizona's spot in the Big 12. Hopefully we have a contract maybe by then. Wink, wink, wink. Okay. Now, the secondary, love the returning secondary. You give me Takario Davis, Ephesians Prysock, Traden Stukes, who can't come back. I don't know why people keep telling me that Traden Stukes can't come back. He's wrong. They're wrong. And then you give me Gunnar Maldonado. I can't believe I'm saying this. My bad, Gunnar. You were certainly in that movement. My bad, Gunnar. Dalton Johnson, Genesis Smith. Scheer, this is an A unit for me. I love it.
I mean, the secondary doesn't change. Gunner's coming back. Dalton's coming back. The corners are coming back. Stukes is coming back. You probably want another nickel guy because you're losing Irby. Warnell could come back. It wouldn't shock me if a guy and I'm just throwing this out, I don't know for sure. It wouldn't shock me if a guy like Isaiah Taylor transferred just because he's not playing a ton and isn't going to. But none of those starters are. That secondary is pretty much returning. It wouldn't surprise me if they're adding a corner for depth or something like that. But yeah, I mean, this secondary is built for the next few years.
This secondary is built for the next 2 years. You know what's also built for the next few years? Game time. Now, when you're traveling to these Big 12 places, sometimes it's a little difficult to find out areas where you can go and let's just say airports or whatever. Game Time, my friend, will help you out with the tickets. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. And Arizona Lottery, my friends. Arizona Lottery again. We got another read right here. Flow out enthusiasm to Mike Luke. He did. But he needs to be able to outplay me as well. All right, go ahead and get your holiday scratchers today. Top prizes up to $500,000. Scratchers start at just $1. Okay, Dalton Johnson is fantastic. We've been talking about Dalton Johnson. I don't know where this slander is coming from. Dalton Johnson is an absolute monster. My question always about Dalton Johnson is this: Coach Jedd Fisch, why did you play Christian Young over Dalton Johnson? That's my only question.
Yeah, that's the big question. We've never said I love Dalton Johnson. I think he gets a bad rap sometimes. He's one of the best hitters on the team. Yeah, he's solid.
Right. And by the way, Kobe Thiel. Kobe Thiel likes this. My favorite is when Mike tells Scheer he's coming on tomorrow and he says he can, and Mike is all surprised. Oh, he's coming on tomorrow. He already committed. Yeah.
Probably. My tooth fell out, so we'll have to see.
Where? Let me see. Let me see. Put it on.
My crown.
Yeah. Come on.
No, it's all the way back there. You don't want to see it.
All right. Dalton Johnson is a dude. And Cosmic Contrarian, somebody who is generally very pessimistic about Arizona. If he says he's a dude, you know that he's good. All right. Loop has another year. The guy we recruited does both. Yes. Tyler Loop. Very, very comfortable with Tyler Loop. I like Tyler Loop a great deal, Scheer. I have Steve Loop. This is for you out there as well. By the way, Tyler Loop likes Whataburger. He responded to a Whataburger tweet that I put out, and then he deleted the tweet. I don't understand why. Are they not allowed to talk with reporters?
Probably not. But also keep in mind, they're also adding the number one kicker in the country, I believe.
Yeah. So we're either way, we're good. These are not the days of Alex Zendejas.
No, they're adding Michael Salgado Medina.
What a great
We have him
name.
as the fifth best kicker, but
that sounds like sounds like a Middle Ages painter. Say it again.
Michael Salgado Medina.
Yes, exactly, man. He's got great artwork all up and down the St. Francis Basile or however it's pronounced. Now, let's see here. Oh, tomorrow we're going to talk about breakout candidates and players that we need to see a bump from. Scheer, that's your show prep for tomorrow. But again, this is across the board. This is an absolutely awesome team. That's why Jedd Fisch, Fisher of recruits. I think you got to. We're going to talk about areas to address tomorrow, but this is a pretty loaded team, Scheer. The skeleton is solid. The backbone is strong. The spine is preserved.
Look at you. Yeah, I like it. It's good.
All
When does next season start? Let's just get to it.
I was going to say, dude, here's the ultimate case of why it's awesome to be a U of A fan right now, because we're this far into Arizona's ranked number 2 in the country, and we're barely going to give them 10 minutes of run today because of Arizona football. So again, no more legacy kickers at Arizona. I agree with that. But I think everybody's still scarred from Zendejas.
Oh, yeah. I'm still scarred. So is the guy who he kicked in the head.
Yeah. Was that Colin Baxter?
Might have been.
Oh, no. It was the guy that kept getting all the concussions, the 4-star dude, the really, really large person. What was his name? He was like from like St. Bonaventure or something.
Von Dotze?
Von Dotze. Wasn't it him?
I thought it was, well, Vaughn wasn't a center, though. I think it was Colin Baxter. I don't remember.
Oh, Colin Baxter. Either way, let's see here. Oh, yeah, either way. I'm getting off track, which we don't like to do on this show. Let's get to some Arizona basketball. First and foremost, though, the one thing that I do want to see with Arizona hoops is I want to see Arizona against a team like Arkansas. We watched Arkansas last night, and just so you guys all know, Jason Scheer has been taking L after L after L with the Muss bus. Jason Scheer has told me for 10 years that Muss would never get a Power 5 job. And not only has he gotten a Power 5 job, he has turned it into a top 15 program. They ran Duke off the court. Scheer, I promise you this has an Arizona angle, but do you want to apologize to Muss live on the AZ Wildcats podcast?
Is that the same Muss that lost to UNC Greensboro at home?
That's the same Muss that has 2 straight Elite Eights.
I don't like Muss. You like him.
Why don't you
By
like
the way,
Muss?
the only upset last night was that Muss didn't take his shirt off.
Do you think, let me ask you this, because everybody knows about.
We've discussed this. If he won the title, would he take off all his clothes?
Would he take his pants off? What do you guys all say out there? You're smarter than us. Sure. Do you think he takes his pants off? Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think Muss does. But obviously that's the kind of team though that I'd like to see. I'd like to see Arizona against a really long athletic team. Mainly because there aren't many of those in the country. And I'm just curious how Arizona would play. Again, I think they'd fare just well. But to me, Alabama is not really that team because Alabama isn't that good. Arkansas is the kind of team that I'd like to see Arizona against.
Alabama's better than Arkansas.
No, they're not at the end of the year. Not at the end of the year.
I mean, I guess.
Brad Rich. Listen, Brad Rich, we've already talked about 2 people with 2 first names. Tread very carefully, my friend. Tread very carefully. All right, let's preview these games a little bit. Colgate, we don't need to preview them. They stink. Great toothpaste, bad basketball.
You've got a couple good players, but yeah.
Yeah, they're going to get smoked. And if they don't get smoked, then we will make fun of them accordingly. Then you've obviously got a Florida Atlantic. That is a very fascinating game to me because of guard play.
That's a good game.
It is a
much better game than Arizona fans think.
For sure. Because Florida Atlantic, people don't know. Some people don't know this. Florida Atlantic is probably the best guard unit, or as good a guard unit as there is in the country. They are loaded.
Yeah, their guards are wild good, like really good. They're not the best big team, but they can play at tempo. They defend well. I mean, they lost to Bryant, but it was a fluke. But I mean, they beat A&M. They beat Virginia Tech by 30. They're going to win all their games. They play Illinois on the 5th.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they play. I mean, Arizona on KenPom right now. It's only a 6-point game.
Wow. Right. I mean, again, but that doesn't surprise me really. I'm looking at the comments. At first, I thought you were talking about Colgate. And I was like, it's only a 6-point game. Ken Palm. What is Bruce involved with this?
No. Ken Palm Colgate is a 21-point game.
Ken Palm is playing Colgate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wisconsin 9-point game, and then they have Arizona has one loss the entire year. Ken Palm.
What is it? What do they have? What Arizona, Purdue? What do they got?
Yeah, Purdue by 3. I think that's fair.
I think that's fair because it's at home. But I would on a neutral court. You would back the A on a neutral court, correct?
100%. But I think traveling across the country, cold, all that, I probably Purdue sounds right.
Okay, all right, fair enough. But then you've got obviously, I think they blow Wisconsin out. I think Wisconsin stinks. And who else? I'm all over the place today. Not that I'm not. Yeah, again. And then I think they're going to go into the conference, and I think they're going to lose one game in conference. Calling my shot. I think
Do you think Greg Byrne interviews for the ASU job when he's in Phoenix? Have we considered
that one? Let's make fun of ASU here because that is very fun. Phoenix person put out that Greg Byrne or Arizona State should go after Greg Byrne. Why would a broke athletic department go after? Or I understand why, but why would the AD of Alabama interview at ASU besides being an ASU grad?
Yeah, Greg Byrne's going to be the AD at Alabama until Nick Saban leaves, and then he's probably going to quit before he has to choose Nick Saban's successor.
Does he hire Herm Edwards then?
Oh, we can only hope. ASU crap. Yeah.
We got to make fun of ASU. This is Jacob Franklin. Hop in here, by the way. Have you? And it's kind of funny to look at this. I was talking about this with somebody yesterday. Literally everybody that left in that mass exodus at ASU for ASU football is awesome. In that Jaden Daniels is one of the 5 best QBs in the country. Clearly, Herm had no clue how to use him. Johnny Wilson is a stud. Eric Gentry is USC's leading tackler. Who's the dude at Tennessee that's like their leading sack guy? Ronnie Norman, Omar Law, or Ronnie Law, or not Ronnie.
Yeah.
He's really good. Pearsall, the white wide receiver at Florida, is really good. Chip Trainum. These dudes were studs. How is ASU not better?
I like the we are very, very broke message that ASU is promoting right now.
By the way, who's telling Cartman to put that as? Is that Dillingham trying to get money?
Yeah, Dillingham said after the Arizona game that he wasn't recruiting this week. He was just going to hit the road asking for money.
Yeah, so again, that's an interesting message from. But again, all those people that made fun of U of A for being broke. Funny how Arizona is going to be able to pay their coaches, but ASU's having to beg for money. Take that, my friends. Take that. Kilroy. Let's see here. Kilroy. The great Kilroy Lithium. Circle K is one of their fuel events today in the Tucson area. 40 cents off gallons from 4 to 7 p.m. Really? I guess they knew that
you just walk up and tell Circle K who you are, and they give you free gas anyway, Mike.
No. Well, again, when they're at, I don't know that on Campbell and 36 they watch the AZ Wildcats podcast.
Campbell and 36,
dude, that's tough, man. So I was reading an article about it. I was reading an article about this area. So in this area, they had there was a massive drug bust. And they went out and there were these drug houses and stuff where like these the girlfriends bought or basically leased out the houses, and there was nothing in there except drugs and whatnot, and they had surveillance footage and all kinds of crazy stuff. It was a federal case when I Googled it. I just wanted to prove to people how tough I was.
You're very toughest guy I know.
All right. Let's see here. 5 of a Kind Media. What's the latest on Zoom? I have no clue about Zoom. Jason Scheer, what say you?
I think the latest is people just need to stop asking. I know that sounds bad, but there's nothing new. There's not going to be anything new. He's going to decide when he feels like it. That could be November. That could be February. I don't
expect Arizona to get Zoom, but if Arizona gets Zoom, then we will feel very, very good about it. That's just where I'm at. All right. Now, no better time to become a PHNX diehard. You can get all kinds of cool stuff, all kinds of tchotchkes. You can get shirts, discounted prices, the BTFD going like hotcakes. And you can get like I said, access to the Discords, chats, everything, you name it. Become a PHNX diehard today. Jacob Franklin will thank you. See, that's what's so great about these shirts. They fit somebody like Scheer, who's small but plus sized. They fit somebody like me, who's small but narrow, and they fit the great Jacob Franklin, all 6'10". That's what's so good about it. Check it out besides all kinds of stuff. All right. On that note, We're signing off. Scheer's going to be back tomorrow. Where can they find you? Where can they find you doing all your damage there, Scheer?
At Jason Scheer, wildcatauthority.com, and the Wildcat Scoop podcast with Shelby.
All right. Now, Dennis Walsh. You unblocked Dennis Walsh, correct? Or unmuted him?
I did.
All right. Dennis Walsh, we like that. Back the A. What's the Alamo payout? Cosmic Contrarian, that is for tomorrow. That is called a tease. Gotta go. You've been listening to the AZ Wildcats podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.